To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. Speaker affirmed support for initiatives aimed at implementing royal directives to improve citizens' living standards. Foreign Minister opened 2023 Diplomatic Forum. Saudi seeks to amend private education regulations to attract top institutions abroad. UAE announced blanket ban on single-use plastic bags from 2024. Indonesia rattled by 7.6 magnitude quake. Tsunami warning lifted. 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas concluded. News in detail. Speaker affirmed support for initiatives aimed at implementing royal directives to improve citizens' living standards. The Council of Representatives held its fifth meeting of the first session of the sixth legislative term under the chairmanship of Speaker Ahmad bin Salman Al Musallam. The Speaker lauded the national initiatives launched to translate His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa's directives to improve the living standards of Bahraini families. In this regard, Speaker Al Musallam expressed his deepest thanks and appreciation to His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, for His Royal Highness's directives to disburse an additional month of financial support for low-income families to account for global inflation. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister included developing urgent plans and procedures to stabilize prices and ensure the availability of commodities, temporary suspension of industrial land fees for food storage facilities for 3 months, temporary suspension of approvals and fees required by the Ministry of Industry and Commerce for supermarkets to run promotional campaigns for 3 months, as well as increased monitoring and inspection of local market prices. Al Muslim affirmed parliamentary support for those directives and keenness to enhance constructive cooperation with the government in everything aimed at meeting the citizens' needs and improving their living conditions. Foreign Minister opened 2023 Diplomatic Forum. Foreign Minister Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani opened the 2023 Diplomatic Day. The opening session was attended by senior ministries officials, heads of diplomatic and consular missions, as well as heads of departments and directors. Dr. Al Zayani congratulated them on Bahrain Diplomatic Day, which falls annually on January 14th, hailing their dedicated efforts to support the kingdom's diplomacy, implement its foreign policy, defending its interests, and building bridges of cooperation with brotherly and friendly countries, in line with the directives and foresighted vision of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. On behalf of the ministry's personnel and diplomatic corps, he expressed honor at meeting His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, today at Rifa Palace on the occasion of Bahrain Diplomatic Day. On behalf of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, received the credentials of 11 newly appointed ambassadors to the Kingdom of Bahrain during a ceremony held at Sakir Palace. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister extended to the ambassadors His Majesty the King's greetings to their heads of state, as well as His Majesty's best wishes for success in their diplomatic duties to strengthen cooperation between the kingdom and their countries. Ambassadors shared greetings and well wishes for continued progress and prosperity on behalf of their heads of state. His Royal Highness returned these greetings, and in turn, both parties commended the close bilateral relations of their countries with Bahrain. His Royal Highness welcomed the newly appointed ambassadors and lauded the ongoing process and growth in bilateral relations, wishing them success in their ambassadorial duties. His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad updated about preliminary natural gas results. His Majesty the King's representative for humanitarian work and youth affairs and chairman of the board of directors of the Oil and Gas Holding Company, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, received preliminary results from the Ryder Scott Consulting Company on discoveries related to the natural gas reservoir located under the Oneisa Reservoir. Ryder Scott, a consulting firm with a long experience, has worked on evaluating oil and gas resources and reserves with Tatwir Petroleum to certify the discovered volumes and production quantities of gas in the field. His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa expressed delight at the preliminary results, which will describe as being excellent and pave the way for further evaluation and study. He commended the efforts made by the Ryder Scott Company and Tatsveer Petroleum in this important project, which will contribute to achieve the kingdom's 2030 economic vision. He stressed the importance of the new natural gas discoveries, which will greatly contribute to realize the vision of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. 11 degrees Celsius, likely as heavy rain sparked safety warning. A heavy downpour caused sparks to fly in day and chaos on the roads across the kingdom, as householders and motorists were warned to stay alert during the rainy season. A woman had been rescued from her home by the civil defense yesterday morning when fire erupted in an external electrical transformer box as a result of a short circuit. Now we will be back after a very short break.
The 16th branch of Megamart and Macromart supermarkets in Bahrain has opened in Sahla. The best offers are available to the customers at affordable rates. Everyone is welcome. During and around the opening day, a variety of fish including salmon, meat and dairy products, roastery, frozen items, food and non-food items, groceries, fruits and vegetables, electronics, garments and ready-to-eat food items are available to the customers at affordable rates. Hearty welcome to all. Megamart and Macromart, your favorite shopping destination.
The exclusive franchisee of Cochin Kala Bhavan in Bahrain, with over a decade of existence in Bahrain. Exclusive online regular classes have started for classical dances, music vocal, instrumental music, cinematic dance, Kathak, Zumba body fitness, karate and yoga, drawing, arts and craft, children's theatre. For more information, please call 3909-6845, 3909-4806, 3885-2397, or visit www.bahrainmediacity.com.
Welcome back. Saudi seeks to amend private education regulations to attract top institutions abroad. Saudi Arabia is working on legislation to amend the country's education regulations to attract the world's top educational institutions to open branches in the kingdom. The Ministry of Education, represented by the Agency for Private University Education, is reviewing executive and organizational rules of the private university education regulations. It aims to increase foreign investment opportunities in preparation for attracting the world's top institutions and to facilitate the opening of their branches in the kingdom. The initiatives are under the umbrella of the university system, which will contribute to a strategic transformation in line with Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 objectives. As part of its overall strategy, the ministry wants to increase private sector involvement and attract foreign investments, which will have a role in improving the outputs of university education into entering global competitiveness. UAE announced blanket ban on single-use plastic bags from 2024. The UAE will enforce a blanket ban on single-use plastic shopping bags from January 1, 2024. It was announced on Tuesday. WAM said a ministerial resolution prohibits the import, production and circulation of single-use plastic shopping bags from next year. This will serve as the prelude to banning products made of single-use materials. From January 1, 2026, the country will ban plastic or foam products like cups, plates, cutlery containers and boxes. These include spoons, forks, knives, chopsticks, straws and stirrers. The decision excludes some products, including thin bag rolls used to keep food items fresh. Products that are to be exported or re-exported are exempted, provided they are clearly labeled. Bags made out of recycled materials in the country are exempted as well. UAE employees likely to get 10% salary increase in 2023. Employees in the UAE can expect a double-digit salary increase in 2023 as the labor market is facing a shortage of suitable candidates. As a result of a shortage of skilled workers in the market, HR and recruitment industry executives say that passive employees were demanding almost double in late 2022 as compared to what they were demanding in early last year. Salary offers for new hires started rising from 20% below the market to match the current market rate last year due to a shortage of job seekers in the market. Passive candidates who at the start of 2022 had been looking for a 10 to 15% salary hike when changing jobs gradually started demand 25 to 30%. Almost employers considered 15 to 20% a norm to attract working professionals. Nadia Global projected a 10% increase in salaries in 2023 as compared to 5% last year. Indonesia rattled by 7.6 magnitude quake. Tsunami warning lifted. Indonesia was struck by a 7.6 magnitude earthquake on Tuesday off the Tanimbar Bar Islands, prompting panicked residents in the area to flee their homes. Although a tsunami warning was lifted after 3 hours and initial reports indicated limited damage. The Tanimbar Islands are a group of about 30 islands in eastern Indonesia's Maluku province, Reuters reported. At least 4 aftershocks were reported after the powerful quake that was also felt on some parts of northern Australia. Indonesia Disaster Agency officials said that at least 15 homes and 2 school buildings were damaged, with 1 person injured after the tremor was felt strongly for 3 to 5 seconds. The quake, locally measured as magnitude 7.5, struck at a depth of 130 km at 2:47 a.m. local time. The country's geophysics agency, BMKG, said the tsunami warning was lifted at 5:43 a.m. Oman's satellite dream on hold as UK rocket fails to reach orbit. The historic journey of the first Omani satellite, Aman, was put on hold as its carrier launcher one rocket failed to reach the designated orbit after its launch from the spaceport Cornwall in the UK. Aman, the first Omani satellite, was loaded into a modified Boeing 747-400 jet and the Launcher One system alongside other satellites from the UK and Poland. Named Cosmic Girl, the aircraft carrier released the rocket carrying commercial satellites over the Atlantic Ocean. However, a technical glitch prevented the Launcher One rocket from reaching its orbit. If successful, the Start Me Up space mission would have been a launch of firsts. Oman's first orbital mission, the first space mission commencing from the United Kingdom, the first international launch for Virgin Orbit, and the first ever commercial launch from Western Europe. Supreme Court of India flagged issues in government's demand to reopen Bhopal tragedy resettlement. A constitution bench headed by Justice Sanjay Krishnan Kaul questioned the government for its endeavor not to follow the terms of a settlement arrived at before top court in 1989 regarding damages to be paid by American company Union Carbide. Children born with congenital disabilities believed to have been caused by the exposure of their parents to gas leakage in the 1984 Bhopal gas tragedy, along with supporters take part in a candlelight vigil to pay homage to those killed in the disaster in Bhopal. The Supreme Court on Tuesday expressed doubts over the legality of the center's demand that American company Union Carbide be directed to pay additional compensation of more than Rs 7,400 crore to the victims of the 1984 Bhopal gas tragedy, saying that populism cannot form the basis of a judicial intervention. 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas concluded. Two of the total 5 plenary sessions of the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention was held on January 10th. Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan chaired the 4th plenary of PBD 2023 on enabling global mobility of Indian workforce role of Indian diaspora. The 5th and last plenary session was convened by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on harnessing the potential of women diaspora entrepreneurs. The 3-day convention took place from January 8th to 10th in the cleanest city of India, Indore, Madhya Pradesh. The theme of 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is Diaspora, Reliable Partners of India's Progress in Amrit Kal. The convention is being held with the joint partnership of the Madhya Pradesh government. It's pertinent to note that over 3,500 diaspora members from nearly 70 different countries have registered for the PBD convention. Furthermore, the upcoming 3-day convention is significant because it is being held physically after a long 4-year period. The last PBD convention was held virtually in 2021 because of the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I am Vinod Narayan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.